oh my God, it is incredible. And that's what I want to talk about today is what it's like when you actually merge with your sacred higher self. You do not have the ability to merge with anything greater until you start to clear your mind. When Peter says he merges with us, he is saying that he has just moved himself a little bit further from his earthly 3D awareness into a higher awareness. What it is basically climbed the ladder, took a few steps of ascension. This is the level you're going to get to when you merge with your sacred higher self. You simply turn your focus towards what you call your greater being. You get the causeless joy. You get the access to unlimited information. And you get the power.
Hello, beautiful souls. Get ready to become awesome with Peter D, channeling his sacred higher self.
Hey, you beautiful souls. It's always so delicious for me to give you a channeled message because it moves me up into this higher state of connection, and I get to tap into your fields. I know I've done so many of these messages where the entity I'm channeling says they can sense and feel who's watching and who's listening. And I'm getting to the point now where I can sense that too. And oh my God, it is incredible. And that's what I want to talk about today is what it's like when you actually merge with your sacred higher self. It's not a distinction of where I just channel my sacred higher self. It's more like I am more and more throughout the day expressing as my sacred higher self. It changes everything. So let's dive in and welcome in my sacred higher self. Dear beautiful souls, it is a little process of pausing that Peter does to get this connection going where we speak to you as his sacred higher self. What he is noticing and what he has asked us to speak about today is what it's like to merge. He is beginning to have periods of time, sometimes even days or multiple days, where it is not like he invites us in. We are already in, and he acts and speaks as if he is us because he is us. This may sound confusing, but it is a beautiful state of connectivity. And in this state of connectivity, as Peter so rightfully said, he can feel you listening. And of course, what he feels is love, because that is what connection is. That is what oneness is. It is the frequency of being aware of another, which is love. So let us begin this message by saying, you are fantastic and we love you. We feel it. We know who is listening to this, who is attending to this. And that is why we can tell you without a doubt, we look at you and we see just how beautiful you are. Please let that come into you. That is the most important message in any channel that Peter does. And we want you to start with it, and then we will move on from there. But know you are loved. Now, in this message, we will be speaking of what it is like to merge 24/7. And then we will also speak of understandings of what it is that keeps you from that. Mostly it's alignment with your lower mind, your local mind. And then finally, we will discuss some of the terms that are popularly used in psychology to describe who you are as a mental body and why those are incorrect. So if you stay around for that, you will get a better understanding of knowing who you are and more truth, and therefore more open to your own connection. And now, it may sound like Peter's only talking about his sacred higher self, but he has presented many lessons to you, and we have tried to help with this in understanding that you are fractals of the divine. You are a piece of God. And when Peter says he merges with us, he is saying that he has just moved himself a little bit further from his earthly 3D awareness into a higher awareness, which includes what he calls, and what we are, his sacred higher self. Above that would be a soul, and an oversoul, and a collection of souls, and it go all the way back up to source. And so what it is basically climb the ladder, took a few steps of ascension. And to be able to produce a message like this, where Peter talks about what it's like to be merged, is a milestone. This is to be celebrated. Everyone thinks ascension used to be you leave your body and you rise up. And yeah, that's how it used to be. But now the goal is to bring those higher energies physically onto earth. And the fact that Peter is giving you this message is a demonstration of what that can look like, what that can sound like. You are in a room, let us say, and there's many, many treasures and jewels and interesting colors and shapes and artworks and furniture in this room. And you look in one area and you go, oh, I see that. And it becomes your focus. You look in another area and oh, you see something different, and that becomes your focus. This is the level you're going to get to when you merge with your sacred higher self. You simply turn your focus towards what you call your greater being, that fractal of the divine that is more close and more expressive in the oneness field. You turn your attention towards it, and then you become it. And after a while, it's no longer a matter of turning your attention towards it. It's a merge. This becomes your new platform. This is a sign of ascension having taken place, a milestone on the journey that you are now at the level where this merge is there. And as such, you are bigger and more aware. Now, what is this bigger, more aware we are speaking of? It is the oneness field, the all that is, the universal intelligence, the consciousness. You can tap into it. And it's many levels to oneness. Like anything, there's many levels. You can be one with yourself, which is what we are speaking of. You can be one with another. You can be one with your community, with your family, with your job. You can be one with all of humanity. You can be one all the way up to where you become one with the divine, that blissful merger. So this is a milestone of merging consciousness, so that when Peter speaks, it is no longer just him speaking. We are always present. Some of that is coming through. And as such, it's a higher frequency, a higher density. Those of you who are experiencing ascension and awakening know this. People are being attracted to you for reasons they can't explain. They say they feel calmer around you. And that's simply because you're vibrating at a higher frequency, which means more of your authentic essence, that connection, that fractal to source that you are, comes through, and they feel it. It is palpable. We are asking you to recognize this, and we are telling you that the journey you are on into ascension is this merger. And it becomes greater and greater, and it's basically just the oneness field. The more you are aware in oneness, the more you attract information, and the more you attract around you that which vibrates best for you. The result is causeless joy. You feel good because you're expanded. You're in that high kundalini, high awareness state of being out there in the field of oneness. So it just feels good. So you feel joy. Now, you still have what you have going on in 3D. Peter still has his money worries, or is looking, do I need to be on a diet, or whatever it is that he's worrying about at the time. He has that because he still has one foot in the human world, as you all do. This is what 4D is. You have 1 foot in 3D and 1 foot in 5D, and you're learning how to navigate that so you can eventually move the transition from 4 into 5. So Peter is still aware of all this, but because he has this connection that is getting stronger and stronger, he no longer has to look in the direction of his sacred higher self to have that energy come through. So he may have his trials and tribulations and turmoils happening, but he's still feeling joy. He's not as bothered or affected by it. Yes, the causeless joy we speak of. Sometimes the external world changes, and he celebrates. Sometimes the same old crap is happening in his life, and he doesn't feel it. He's not affected by it because of this causeless joy feature. So that is one of the biggest and most important advantages of making this merger. The second important thing is that when you are connected in this field, you have access to information. You instantly know truth from falsehood. Now, again, we live in a multiverse, so there's many truths. Many people have many truths. But you know, is this right for me? So you no longer get pulled into the polarities of this political or that stance of morality. You no longer get there because you're seeing, does it resonate with you? And if it does, you let it in and you grow into it. And if not, you keep it, it just doesn't resonate. It can't come in. It's not like you keep it at bay. It just simply can't come in to affect your field. So this is more of the causeless joy, but in addition to that knowing of truth, you have access to knowing everything. You see, many of you are interested in channels and channels like this that Peter and many other beautiful souls give because you think that there is some greater knowledge and information. And really, it's not a greater knowledge or information. It's just a more clear, truthful understanding of it. So as you merge with your sacred higher self and it becomes a 24/7 event, you have automatic knowing. You don't just know truth and falsehood, you just know things. You just know the answer to questions. And so information comes to you, life gets easier. You're more powerful, you're more productive. You just have the advantage of what some would say is wisdom. So these are just two very, very beginning things you will notice as you start to, one, reach out to your sacred higher self, and two, you get to merge. Peter has written most of this down, this process, in his first book, My Ascension Handbook, Level 1, Clearly Communicating with Your Sacred Higher Self. He's dancing with joy inside of us that we are plugging his book, and that's okay. We're happy to do that. Everybody thinks, oh, there's spiritual stuff and there's mundane stuff. No, he's in a merger state. So he can talk about both of these freely, and we, as he is giving back by stepping back and letting us come through more strongly, can give this to you. You see, when he is doing sessions with people and trying to help them, which is always available, I believe he does it with his wife 3 days a week. They offer him by donation. So that's available to you. When he is doing that, he's always lightly in this state. His attention no longer has to turn here and then there and what Peter says and what we say. He's always lightly in it. So it looks and sounds like him, but then the guidance is coming through and he becomes more effective. The people with him feel, oh yeah, this is hitting it spot on. It's making sense. Peter doesn't understand it. He still doubts it, going, how do I know this stuff? And it's not that you know it. It's that you are expanded into the oneness field. Therefore, you have automatic knowing. And this comes to you more and more. And with this automatic knowing and this causeless joy, you then get a sense of purpose. And these are the three big things we wish to tell you are coming to you as you do your ascension work. And yes, it is work. We're going to speak to a minute about mind and about why it is that you're not in this state already. But then again, these methods are available for you to learn so you can get here and start to experience the golden age. So the third biggest thing is you now know purpose. Many clients come to Peter and say, I just don't know what I should do, or I feel like there's something bigger and all this stuff. And all that is a statement of disconnect. They're not in touch with their authentic self, which of course is this fractal of the divine that you are. And as they're feeling it, as the earth energy is shifting and we move more and more into higher vibration as a planet, they're feeling the disconnect, all that old energy. And it is expressed as, well, I don't know, I'm not sure. As you move into this merger state, you will find that you do know and you are sure because it's always clear, because it's only one thing. And that is, are you being authentic? And as such, that means expressing the inner fractal of the divine in you. And it just comes out naturally. You don't have to try it. It just comes out naturally. And then you instantly know what you're doing is fulfilling. And if it's not fulfilling, you don't think, oh, I should be doing something else. You know, oh, this is not the path of connection. And you just change to a different path. So you don't ask what to be shown what to do. You just have the guidance of knowing, oh, it feels right or it doesn't. And those of you who express, I don't know what my purpose are, you're just simply saying you're in disconnect. And when you get to connect, you have the purpose because you know it feels so good to you. It is fulfilling. So these are the advantages of moving here. And so then the question becomes, how does one merge? And it was interesting when Peter first heard of this, he was listening to the channel Cryon as Lee Carroll would bring this beautiful entity forth. And he would talk about, okay, when Cryon was speaking and when Cryon would reference his partner, okay, partner, you back off now, or you say this more clearly now, be careful with it. And this was confusing to Peter at first. And then eventually Cryon started speaking of merging. And now it's not just wonder and awe. Peter is experiencing this, and he is so happy to share it with you. And as he does, and as his wont is to help you get there through learning the specific steps of what it takes to embrace this as a beautiful step towards your ascension. So let us begin speaking of that by now talking about the nature of mind and what it is that you can do as far as becoming more merged, authentic with your sacred self, which is your fractal of source inside you. Now, most people do not understand that they are a composition of bodies, a mental body, an emotional body, a physical body, a spiritual body, an energetic body, on and on. You understand you have a physical body, and you often understand it's not you, but you understand that from a place of mind. You do not yet understand you are not your mind either. But my mind tells me all this stuff. No, it is just like a computer screen, a sensor giving you information and input on what is around you. It is not you. But many of you cede control to it and let the computer automatically run in your unconscious, and that is what you think you are. Oh, my mind. I know this. I see this. It's been with you since you were young, and it moves so fast. So you identify with mind. As such, then you do not have the ability to merge with anything greater until you start to clear your mind. Now, how does this work? The beautiful entity that is a friend of Peter's, Celestis, Peter has channeled him, and there's a beautiful YouTube that we will ask that the links be put to so you can get a deeper explanation as well as some energetics to help you move into that state of what is called awakening, or the mind quiets and you start to realize that you are the captain of the ship, not the computer that automatically has been running it. Okay? And so you can get that information there. What we wish to speak to you now is about the densities of mind. Just like you are ascending from 3D to 5D, I would like you to consider a scale of density for your mind, lower mind, higher mind, or as some traditions call it, universal mind for the higher end and local mind for the lower end. Now, there's energetic categories, frequencies that are carried. The denser frequencies for local mind are negative, repetitive, and destructive. That's why it repeats over and over, and you tell yourself, oh, I really screwed up, and you beat yourself up for days or weeks, even though the event is in the distant past. You know what we speak of. Many of you experience this. That is because you are identified with lower local mind. Okay? Now, the higher universal mind has the qualities of auspicious, creative, connected. And it's just a frequency shift. Now, you don't do this by saying, okay, I'm going to go in and turn the dial on the radio and go to a different frequency, although you can do that if you are adept. Okay? For most people, you are unconsciously tuned into what is the lower mind, the local mind. You believe you have a personality. You believe that because you've done things over and over for a certain way, that's who you are. It is your nature. Now, that is an incorrect explanation of what has been going on. Yes, you have done things over and over the same way, but it's not because it is your nature. It's because you are identifying with that frequency so much that you permission it, and then you become that frequency. You see, as Peter has said often, and we're going to say it again, he's getting ready to be really happy because this is his catchphrase: clear, clear, clear. Anything fully expressed turns to bliss. If you express it, you release it, you move into a higher vibration because you're no longer holding the density. Okay? So when you say this is my habit, it just means you're in a lower vibration. Okay? And that really means that something is painful. The anger, the fear, it's not the happiness that you don't express. Sometimes it is, but usually it's the sadness, the pain, the loneliness, the separation that is not fully expressed because you believe it hurts too much. Right? So you use mind to say, oh, this is important and we're just not going to do these emotions because they don't feel good. So you cede control to your mind. Now, what happens when you do this is your mind has to put a Band-Aid on to keep you from the pain. And these are a set of beliefs that you unconsciously hold. They're almost always, for the people Peter has worked with, they are almost always, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve, I'm not worthy, I'm not loved, I'm not lovable, I'm being punished. You know the story, right? And, welcome to the human race if you relate to any of those things. Those are unconscious programs running. Why? Because you have not completed the experience and then replaced it with grace. So the unconscious program runs. And because it's so automatic, then you believe it is your personality. Oh, that's the way I am. No, that's just simply the pattern of wounding that you've held and repeated over and over throughout your life. Clearing tools are available in Peter's work, in his website, becomingawesome.one. They're available for free. He and his wife offer sessions by donation 3 days a week to help you identify and move through some of these blockages. That's available to you. So this is all here for your taking. But we wish to give you the teaching right now that this is an example of how your mind has been running at the lower frequency and the lower end, and as you awaken and ascend, you move to the higher frequency. And it starts with the little bits of awareness, and then it becomes your skill to channel, and then it becomes the merger that we were speaking of. And this is where you're headed. You're all headed. Peter's nobody special. Oh, he's just crushed that we would say that. He is very special, of course. But he is nobody special on the planet compared to you. You have the same abilities that you came here with. It is a matter of accessing and expressing it. And sometimes it is difficult because these are densities. And these densities hurt very often. But you do your work, you get here. And because of the energetics of the people who have come before, Peter's teachers would spend decades to clear stuff out so they can come to him, and he can do it in months and years. And he has spent months and years clearing stuff out so you can come and he can pass along these energies with our help in weeks and months. Yes. A lifetime of suffering versus 3 or 4 months of putting your nose to the grindstone and becoming free. It is available for you. Of course, you have to let your mind believe it and decide that you are not your mind and decide to actually do what is necessary, which is, of course, the experiencing of all that suppressed pain, the blockages that keep you separate, keep you in the lower energy, so you cannot access this type of merger we are speaking of. Now, the last thing we wish to tell you about is some of the terminology that has been used in your popular psychology and your even academic worlds. Unconscious, subconscious, ego, id. Oh, it goes on and on and on. And all that is mind glorifying mind. Oh, let's categorize it, because mind loves categories. What is the joke that is told? There's 2 types of people in the world, those who put people in categories and those who don't. Right? My mind is one of those who do. Okay? So it just loves this. So it's, oh, look how smart I am. I've got a new category. I got a new name. And then books are written by it. And then you have great, great psychologists. And how many years of therapy does it take to come to a realization? And does that actually change anything? Some of the new therapies talk about behavior change after years of going inside and change your behavior. Great. You're dealing with your physical body. You're dealing with your mental body. Or you're dealing with your emotional body. Which is what spiritually can be done quite quickly with the new energies and the new tools that we have been speaking of. Now, we are here to tell you to keep it simple. Very, very simple. Conscious mind, unconscious mind. Period. Nothing else beyond that. Not ego, not this, not that. Conscious mind is anything that you have immediate awareness of. Okay? Unconscious mind is everything else. Everything else that runs in the background. Okay. Now, it's not just, oh, my unconscious mind controls your heartbeat. No. Your heart controls your heartbeat. Your organs, your body is conscious. Yes. And don't think it's your mind running that. No, they are conscious and they are alive and they've agreed to be with you. So you got your conscious and your unconscious. And anything you're aware of is your conscious, and anything you're not aware of is your unconscious. If you keep it that simple, you don't go down these mind traps and you get more separate and lost. Okay? Oh, well, my ego wants this. No. That's, again, another misinterpretation. You're human. You crave significance. Every child that grows up says, hey, mom, hey, dad, watch me. I can do this. It's part of your human experience, craving significance. That you give it the word ego and then think it's bad or you have to control it is just silly. It just means you have incomplete experiences, i.e. you probably weren't watched when you asked your mom or dad to recognize you. So you feel the pain of that and clear that. So let's keep it very, very simple, what you're aware of and what you are not aware of. And if you focus on what you're aware of, your consciousness grows, which is why Peter has been given the teaching and he's passing it along to you. Awareness is the first step. Awareness is the last step. The whole game is awareness. The more you put your awareness on it, the more you see what is truly there. And then you can choose to feel it and express it, or stay distant by having lower mind, beat you up, and go through cycles of why it's bad or you're bad or whatever it is you're doing. And then, as your awareness grows, you start to get to this place where you sense you're in that oneness field. You can feel the love around you from even inanimate objects. Yes, they are conscious too. They're part of this field. And then you feel the connection to the entities that you call channeling. And then you feel the connection to your sacred higher self, that fractal of the divine. Some ancient traditions call it Antri Amen, the indweller, the God that dwells within. Okay? And you feel that, and you feel that love. And eventually your awareness goes enough that you merge with it. So rather than build all these complications and methodologies and explanations that actually keep you more distant, we're going to ask you to keep it very simple, conscious and unconscious. And there's greater teachings out there. We referred to that video because at some point you're going to learn mind is not yours, just like this body is not yours, that you are consciousness, that you're going to understand that there is thinking but no thinker. Well, if there's thinking and I'm not doing the thinking, who is? Again, it's a whole big topic that you're going to start to learn. But for now, we just want you to know where your awareness is, in the conscious or the unconscious. And the unconscious is very powerful. It is what generates your law of attraction. It is literally what is creating your physical circumstance around you. All the things in your life are attracted through unconscious broadcast. So as you become more conscious, you expand, you grow, you get more connection, you get more control over your life. And then you get the 3 benefits we spoke of earlier. You get the causeless joy, you get the access to unlimited information, and you get the power of knowing that you are this fractal of source. And that connection then fills you with the love and transformation that you seek. You know your purpose, which is just to live your life fully. So we thank you for attending to this message. And we hope that you find some understanding and inspiration that you too will soon be merging with your sacred higher self. And that is to be celebrated with a party as you passed a milestone, a mile marker on your journey to ascension. Now you're at this level of consciousness. And when you get there, you will find that everything is different. So we will end this with a blessing that you receive. This is Peter D. I'm back now. Of course, I would never left because I was merged, but I kind of pulled back and let Spirit do more of the talking than me. I got nothing to add. Man, it's just beautiful when you're in this state. I just keep getting miracle after miracle, feeling better and better. And it's not like my life's any easier. It's still challenging. And it's like the crap is still there and I still feel it and it's painful. But you know what? Can you imagine being in a state where it hurts, but you also feel good because it's no big deal? I don't understand it yet. But I'm experiencing it. It's part of my growth of having 1 foot in 3D and 1 foot in 5D as I merge and grow. And I'm happy to share this with you, and I hope you're inspired. So, it would be really, really nice. If you're watching, please give a like and a subscribe. If you're listening, please follow. And of course, share this video, leave a review, share this audio. Thank you. Thank you so, so much. Many blessings. Bye.